7 species of bees are newly listed as endangered. The bees are found exclusively in the Hawaiian Islands, but still the move has sparked a conversation here about bee health in the state. James Vavrick reports.
George Hagamon has been a beekeeper in Monroe County for decades. But one day prior to a large cider festival held at a Bloomington orchard, Hagamon found the orchard's 2 hives entirely empty. Hagamon cannot confirm what caused the bees to vanish, but he thinks something called colony collapse disorder is to blame. That's when all of the worker bees in the colony disappear. It's an increasing problem, and there's no definitive cause.
They typically are not a problem for people who have stationary hives like these. So I'm just not sure what's going on.
Hagamon thinks the culprit could be a category of insecticides known as neonicotinoids. They're found in many retail fertilizers and used as a soil drench to protect certain plants in the U.S. But beekeepers condemn the product for allegedly contaminating the pollen and nectar that bees consume. That theory led the European Union to ban neonicotinoids.
The consequence may be that there's enough of it in the environment so that it's affecting the bees.
National statistics show an alarming drop in honeybee productivity, which could have catastrophic repercussions if a drop led to an extinction.
They say 1 out of every 3 mouthfuls of food we eat in one way or another relies on an insect or some other pollinator, typically an insect, usually a honeybee.
With all that's at stake, the collapse at the community orchard grabbed the attention of local environmentalists, causing them to reflect the declining bee population and what the state is doing to protect them.
Our losses are probably one of the highest of states. We last year had 48% loss, which is really bad.
In 2014 through 2015, national average total loss of colonies was 42%, substantially lower than Indiana's loss percentage. The bees endangered designation will provide more funds for conservation efforts while also raising awareness of the bees' loss of habitat among the public. The endangered label could paint a grim picture for the future of our bees, but the move to label these species as endangered could possibly help honeybees and other species of bees.
I think what it does show is the government's commitment to saving the bees. And I think it's the first step in many steps that will come in protecting bee species. I wouldn't be surprised if more states start jumping on board and this spreads throughout the country.
I wouldn't say that we have exactly the same problems that Hawaii does, or that we need the same legislative solutions, but certainly the concerns are similar.
Currently, there is an Indiana law that states that the use of all pesticides which may cause injury to pollinators are banned, but neonicotinoids have still not been included in this category. For Indiana News Desk, I'm James Vavrick.
Hagamon says Hawaii is more progressive when it comes to wildlife preservation, and the ecosystem requires special care because it's so isolated from other natural resources. He hopes their efforts set an example for other areas across the nation.